The device sits on the nightstand, silent and untouched. No one has spoken for hours. No trigger phrase has been uttered. The house sleeps beneath a low autumn ceiling, wrapped in the kind of darkness that feels complete. Then, at exactly 2:41 a.m., the ring begins to glow. Blue light, soft at first, then steady. A faint static hum fills the bedroom, barely perceptible but undeniably present. And from the speaker, barely audible above the white noise of the night, comes a whisper. Not a command, not a question, not a response to anything said. A name, spoken in a voice that belongs to no one in the house. The tone is neither male nor female, neither young nor old, just a whisper, distorted and layered, as if coming from somewhere distant. The glow fades after 11 seconds. Silence returns like a held breath released. But the air feels different now, heavier, charged. The couple wakes minutes later, unsure what disturbed them. A sound? A dream? They check their phones instinctively. Nothing. No notifications, no alerts. The Alexa sits dark and still on the nightstand as if it had never moved. But when they review the activity log in the morning over coffee and confusion, they find a timestamp that makes their skin tighten. 2:41 a.m. Voice command detected. Only no one gave one. Nothing in that room should have been able to move. Nathan and Claire live in a modest 2-bedroom townhouse on the eastern edge of the suburbs. Both work remotely, both rely heavily on routines to maintain structure in their lives. Morning coffee at 7, shared playlists during lunch prep, weekly groceries on Saturday mornings. Their Alexa has been part of that routine for nearly 3 years now. Weather updates while they dress, timers for pasta, lights dimmed during movie nights, background music while they cook dinner together. It's become invisible in the way all functional technology does. A fixture, a tool. Nathan jokes that it listens too well sometimes, activating when no one's near. Claire says it's just code doing what code does. Nothing sinister. Their bedroom is minimal by design. White walls, low platform bed, a single potted plant by the window that Claire waters every Sunday. The Alexa sits beside a small lamp tucked into the corner of the nightstand on Nathan's side. Unremarkable. Functional. A black cylinder that blends into the furniture. They trust it the way people trust microwaves or thermostats or smoke detectors. It's part of the infrastructure of daily life. They've never questioned it, never thought twice. But over the past 2 weeks, something subtle has shifted. Nothing dramatic, nothing they could point to and say, "There, that's wrong." Just a feeling, an instinct, a sense that the space they've lived in for 4 years has started to feel less familiar. But something in their home felt slightly off. It starts small, the way these things always do. A playlist begins without being asked one Tuesday evening while Claire is folding laundry. She pauses, frowns, assumes Nathan triggered it from the other room. He hadn't. A few nights later, the bedroom light turns on at 3:17 a.m., bright and sudden enough to wake them both. The app shows no scheduled automation, no routine, no trigger. They blame the software, a bug, an update that didn't install correctly. Then, 4 days after that, the weather report plays at 2:03 a.m., unprompted, unprovoked. Claire listens to the activity log the next morning, scrolling through timestamps with growing unease. No wake word detected, no voice input recorded, just activation, as if the device decided on its own. Nathan wonders if someone nearby has a similar device. Interference, maybe. Echo confusion. He searches forums during his lunch break, finds dozens of similar reports scattered across support threads. Glitches, firmware updates, signal overlap from neighbors. Nothing definitive, nothing alarming, just common enough. They decide to unplug it at night, a precaution that feels reasonable. But the next evening, after dinner and dishes and a shared episode of something unforgettable, Claire forgets. She's tired, distracted, and neither of them thinks to check. The device remains plugged in, active, listening. And then it happened again, only louder. 2:41 a.m. Nathan wakes to a sound that doesn't belong. Not music, not an alarm, not the hum of the refrigerator or the creak of the house settling. A voice. Low, distorted, artificial, but not robotic. He sits up slowly, heart rate climbing before his brain catches up. The Alexa is glowing, blue ring, steady pulse. The voice is speaking, and at first he can't make out the words through the fog of sleep. Then he hears it clearly. A name. Olivia. Whispered. Repeated twice with a pause between. Nathan freezes. Blanket pulled to his chest. He doesn't know anyone named Olivia. Not personally, not professionally, not even distantly. Claire stirs beside him, her breathing shifting from sleep to wakefulness. He reaches over carefully and taps the top of the device. It goes silent immediately. The ring fades to black. He checks the time on his phone. 2:41 a.m. The room feels colder now, though the thermostat hasn't changed. He opens the Alexa app with shaking hands, waits for it to load. Activity log appears. Last command, 2:41 a.m. Voice input detected, but the transcript is blank. No text, no recording available. Just a timestamp and the words, voice command detected. And the footage didn't match what Emily was seeing. Nathan replays the event in his mind while Claire makes coffee. Neither of them will finish. He can still hear it, the whisper, the way it repeated. He insists they check the security camera they installed 6 months ago, the one aimed at the hallway that captures part of the bedroom doorway. Claire pulls up the app on her tablet, scrolls to 2:41 a.m. The hallway is dark, empty, perfectly still. At 2:41 exactly, a faint blue glow spills from the bedroom into the frame. Visible, undeniable. The glow lasts 11 seconds, according to the timestamp. Then it fades. No movement before, no movement after. No shadow, no person entering or leaving. Just light, and then darkness. Nathan tries to access the Alexa voice history through the app again, hoping for more detail. The file won't load. He tries on desktop. Same result. Loading icons spinning endlessly. He contacts support through the chat function, explains the situation as calmly as he can. They respond within minutes. Standard troubleshooting. The recording may be corrupted, or flagged by the system, or incomplete due to a connection issue. He asks if someone else could have accessed his account remotely. They say no. All logins are secure. No unauthorized access detected. He asks if the device could have been triggered by something else. Ultrasonic sound, radio frequency, anything. They say it's unlikely but not impossible. They offer to send a replacement device. Nathan declines. He just wants to understand what happened, but the representative can't explain it. At the 0041 mark, something shifts. Claire takes over the investigation with the methodical determination she applies to everything. She searches for explanations that fit within the boundaries of logic. Neighbor interference,
frequency overlap from another smart device, Bluetooth bleed from a passing car or delivery truck. She finds reports of Alexa devices activating due to similarly sounding phrases on television shows or podcasts, but they weren't watching TV. They weren't streaming anything. The house was silent. She checks the router logs, scrolling through pages of data she barely understands. No unusual activity. No external devices connected at 2:41 a.m. Nathan wonders if it's a prank, some kind of hack, a teenager in the neighborhood with too much time and too much knowledge. But the device is password protected, two-factor authentication enabled, no shared access. He reviews every smart home integration they've set up over the years. Lights, thermostat, security camera, nothing suspicious, nothing new. He even checks if Olivia is a default name in any Alexa skill or Easter egg hidden in the software. It's not. Claire suggests they reset the device entirely, wipe it, start fresh. Nathan agrees, but before they do, he wants to listen one more time. He finds a setting buried in the app to download raw audio files from the device's memory. One file from that night. 2:41 a.m., 6 seconds long. He downloads it, plays it through his headphones first, then out loud. But the timeline didn't make sense. The audio file is brief, too brief. Static at the beginning, a faint hum underneath, like the sound of a refrigerator heard through a wall. Then, beneath it all, a whisper, distorted, layered, not robotic in the way AI voices usually sound, not human in the way living voices sound, somewhere between, uncanny. The voice says, "Olivia." A pause. Then again, "Olivia." Then silence. Nathan listens 3 more times, increasing the volume, pressing the headphones tighter against his ears. This time he hears something else buried in the background. Breathing. Faint. Steady. Rhythmic. Not his, not Claire's. Not anything that should be on a recording made by a device sitting alone on a nightstand. He checks the waveform in an audio app on his laptop. There's a gap, a millisecond-long pause between the name and the breathing, as if the sound was spliced together, edited. But by what? By whom? The device doesn't have editing software. It doesn't have agency. Claire listens next, her face pale in the light of the laptop screen. She hears it too, the breathing, the wrongness of it. She asks if it could be a recording pulled from somewhere else, a sample, a glitch pulling audio from another user's command, or a corrupted file in the cloud. Nathan doesn't know. He's not even sure it matters. What matters is that it happened, that it's real, that the name was spoken. What he reached for is still unknown.
Nathan searches the name that night, sitting alone in the living room while Claire tries to sleep. Olivia. Common name. Thousands of results. No immediate connection to their lives. Then Claire remembers something the next morning over breakfast. Her grandmother's sister, Olivia, died in 1984, long before Claire was born. She never met her. The name was rarely mentioned in family conversations, but it was there, buried in a family tree Claire's mother had shared digitally a few years ago. A genealogy project Claire glanced at once and forgot. Nathan asks if she ever said the name aloud in the house, spoke it near the Alexa, mentioned it in passing. Claire doesn't think so. Maybe once, years ago, when her mother first sent the file, maybe in passing during a phone call, but not recently, not in any way that would matter. That night, they unplug the device. Nathan carries it to the garage, sets it on a shelf beside paint cans and old tools. The house feels quieter without it, but also emptier, somehow less alive. A week passes, then another. Claire is working in the guest room on a Thursday afternoon, focused on a spreadsheet, when her phone buzzes. Alexa app notification. Device activated. She stares at the screen, confused. The device is in the garage, unplugged. She checks the app, device status, offline. But the notification is there, time-stamped, real. Who? They don't bring the device back inside. It stays in the garage, unplugged and untouched, collecting dust beside the Christmas decorations. But the notifications continue. Random, sporadic. Once every few days, device activated. Nathan checks each time. The device is still offline, no power, no connection. He deletes the app from his phone, reinstalls it. Same notifications, same impossible alerts. He contacts support again, more frustrated now, less patient. They say the device may need to be deregistered entirely from his account. He does, follows every step, confirms deletion. The notifications stop, but the feeling doesn't. Claire avoids the garage now, won't go in to get laundry detergent or trash bags. Nathan finds himself waking at 2:41 a.m., not because of sound, not because of light, just habit, awareness, an internal clock set by trauma. One night, 3 weeks after they unplugged the Alexa, the bedroom light turns on by itself. No Alexa, no automation, no routine, just the light. Sudden, bright. They both sit up, startled into wakefulness. Nathan checks the app. No record, no trigger, nothing. The light stays on until he manually switches it off. They don't sleep the rest of the night. The house, once comfortable and familiar, now feels like it's watching them, waiting. Their home hasn't felt the same since. There are theories, of course. There are always theories. Smart devices can be triggered by ultrasonic frequencies inaudible to human ears, dogs barking at certain pitches, electrical interference from power lines. Some believe EMF interference from nearby cell towers or radio signals can cause false activations. Others point to software bugs, corrupted firmware, overlapping signals from nearby devices on the same network. But none of these explain the name. None explain the breathing. None explain why it happened at 2:41 a.m. specifically, or why the device continued to send notifications even when offline. Forums are full of similar stories. Devices activating at night, voices that don't belong, whispers, laughter, commands no one gave. Some dismiss it as paranoia, overactive imaginations fueled by too many horror movies. Others suggest deeper explanations, residual audio stored in the cloud, data leaks between user accounts, AI learning patterns it shouldn't, forming connections that seem random but aren't, machine learning gone wrong. But no one has proof, only experiences, only screenshots of activity logs and timestamps that don't make sense, only recordings of voices that shouldn't exist. The technology is too new, some say, too complex, too poorly understood. We've invited something into our homes that we don't fully control, that we can't fully explain. And maybe that's the point. Maybe not everything needs an answer. Some answers never appear on camera. Nathan still wonders, even months later. Claire has stopped asking questions, stopped searching forums,
stopped checking the app. They've replaced the device with a simple alarm clock. Digital. No voice. No light ring. No cloud connection. Just time displayed in red numbers. The house feels more like theirs now. More private. But quieter in a way that's hard to describe. The silence feels louder somehow. More present. They don't talk about it much anymore. Not because they're afraid, though maybe they are, a little. But because there's nothing left to say. The device is gone. Deleted from their account. The notifications stopped. The light hasn't turned on by itself since. But the memory remains. Sharp. Clear. The voice. The name. The timestamp. 2:41 a.m. Burned into their minds like a scar. They've learned to live with not knowing. With uncertainty. With the possibility that some things can't be explained or understood or rationalized away. Some questions don't have answers. Some sounds don't have sources. Some events exist in the space between logic and fear, where technology and something else overlap in ways we're not equipped to process. And maybe that's okay. Maybe not everything needs to be solved. Maybe some mysteries are meant to stay mysteries. Nathan thinks about this sometimes, late at night, when the house is dark and Claire is asleep beside him. He thinks about the name, about who Olivia was, about why that name, that night, that moment. Sometimes the quiet moments are the loudest. If you've ever wondered what your own home cameras might capture, if you've ever felt that something in your house wasn't quite right, share your thoughts below. And for more quiet real-life incidents, consider subscribing.